So I make videos at different times of day, and this is one of the I just woke up videos, and I'm trying to make my bedhead look cool videos. Well, it looks alright, but I don't have a great film studio. I just have this blurry desk lamp. Oh man, it gets even worse. Oh, there, it's a little better. Not much, not much better. I'm reading this thing from our church about it's this the serving challenge. The Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Uh, I think our synod put this out. Well, we go to a Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod Church, and one of the first things in this thing is says, we started yesterday at our Bible study at church. It says, "Have you ever done something right but in the wrong way?" Like a million things come to mind, and this thing, it's not like it's not an unchristian thing to talk about. The guy himself is a Christian, but he's a YouTube personality. He's got an aggressive type of style, and he's someone who YouTubes about motivation and prison. Wes Watson, he's had a lot of people critiquing him for the last year or two about things that, like, if you're someone who's not been to prison, like I have not been to prison, it's not my genre of thing, but it's just interesting because our whole project is to help kids who are on juvenile probation to do community service and to do crime victims advocacy. So the system abuts right up to it, and a lot of the kids who get themselves victimized by sex trafficking, they first off they're doing a little bit of bad. They're being little partiers or whatnot, and they get pulled into something. Usually, like a big portion of them, not usually. Usually is not the thing, but there's a big thing where kids think they're being part of this little gang or whatever. They get pimped by someone who they're drinking or using with, usually drugs. Um, so I mean, I have actually talked with some of these guys who are prison YouTubers. Like, they will respond back about, hey, what are your thoughts on some of these ways of working with kids who are a little bit caught up in the system and whatnot. And they've had some good responses over the years. Um, but Watson, he kicked some guy in the face on a video at the gym, and I had like a visceral response last week when I saw this thing. He didn't just run up and kick some guy in the face. He was bench pressing. He has weight belts on, and he had like three buddies there with him. Like, they were spotting him on the bench or whatnot. You can see on the security camera, this guy walks up, puts his cell phone down like to capture the video, and then gets in Wes Watson's face. He's like, whoa, 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 like doing his thing. Totally passive aggressive. But then Watson loses his temper. Like, you're supposed to tell someone to leave you alone, but he went too far. Um, but I had a visceral response. Like, it's just happened to me a few times. Like, I've been too happy about seeing something bad happen to someone who did something wrong. It's this internal. It shows me that I'm a sinner. I mean, because the person did something wrong, but I shouldn't take joy in seeing them. Watson, like, hit him in the face, knocked him down, and he was like, "Damn!" But the guy, I think he was, I don't know, maybe the guy was really targeting and eliciting this. He's like looking at his camera on his knees, and then Watson runs up and kicks him in the face. And that was the part I was like, "Yeah," because it's like WWF, but that's the part that's going to get him put in prison. Is the part where he kicks him in the face. It shows that I mean, it's me. It's a me thing. It's a me response, right? It just shows that I'm a sinner. Violence is something I sometimes think is better than it is. It's not. It's not, right. Like, the same thing happened when I found out about the attorney. who threatened the families of the witnesses who were testifying in my two friends' mother and her boyfriend's murder trial. Um, I just was all of a sudden like gleeful. Like I basically both times I felt like envisioning myself being a wolf wanting to bite more of these people's throats out. Um, the guy who basically killed our friend's mom was shot by the Mexican army, and then his attorney was shot by the cartel in Tijuana. And like I decided to make a concerted effort to work again, helping kids, um, to do something good for the victims of crimes. Um, Not like I was ever on a vigilante path, but in Alcoholics Anonymous, people kind of venerate vigilantism. In the military, they do too, or at least the military I was in. The one that exists now, I think you get in a lot of trouble unless you're woke. That's me taking a little dig at it. It's good to be a person who grew up in the '90s. Like we get to make fun of stuff now and be already done with it. It's sort of an ongoing bully pulpit, but there's just bad things that happen to people who do bad and wrong things, and we're still not supposed to be like gleeful about it. But it is proof that there's a type of connection that people have to the moral center of the universe. God's rules of right and wrong, and to God. But then we go too far. Like I have no idea what all reasons why an attorney would be shot in the head and stuffed into their own trunk of their car. Just like shot in broad daylight and humbled like a little baby calf, they call it. It's a total cartel style thing. Someone who does work for the cartels probably has like 100 different hits out on their heads for just any day they're done. And all these people are coerced into working for them too, so it's a real nasty situation. But this thing on YouTube, like everybody just wants to make their own little take their own dig at Wes Watson. This one guy had to make it physical after a couple years of Watson being ticked off. Like that's part of his style was getting ticked off. Like, what? You need to work out. Like I could say the words he used is funny, you know, but sometimes I'd rather just eat an extra sandwich and calm down. But that's that. Doing right things in the wrong way. Like, I guess maybe neither of these things are exactly right things, but I think Watson was a lot in the right and then lost his temper. Because he just kind of like cocked back and he like shoved the guy a little bit and like pretend like he was going to whip him with his weight belt. Which that stuff's pretty okay. Like, it's an escalatory thing. Even though someone's bringing something to you, then there's a gap. And then there's this thing, so. Um, yeah. Recruiting from people who, though, do like vigilantism is a part of my business, because I do want to actually point out that helping people who have been victimized is the true thing to do. And when people do end up going to prison because they have victimized the victims who we are helping, things happen to people in prison because of victimizing children, and we're not the ones doing that, even though we might end up helping see someone convicted. Um, it's the right way of dealing with things. It's not very sanguine, though. It's pretty methodical. That's one interesting thing about doing the best and most positive thing. People say it's disimpassioned, I guess. I don't know. I get pretty riled up about what things happen to kids, though. I mean, there's so much work to do, And if you also don't have a job in the law industry, you can do volunteer work with us as a paralegal to work on these cases. So this video is not going to be very popular. I get like one view sometimes. You're not going to have to worry about me getting all happy about someone getting kicked in the face or a murderer being shot by the army. Dirty attorney being whacked. These things happen. That's why you shouldn't be those people. You shouldn't choose their paths in life. Among other things. I mean, not just because you're going to get whacked, but because it's wrong. It's wrong.